Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's talk about something, well, truly frustrating. You know that feeling, right? You pour your time, your money, you put all this hope into a big repair, like replacing a fuel pump. You turn that key, and you get nothing. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most maddening dead ends for boat owners: zero fuel pressure, even when you've got a brand new pump in there.
Yeah, that's the exact moment we're talking about. That split second of anticipation, you're waiting for that hum, and it's followed by that awful sinking feeling of just silence. You've just installed the new part. You are absolutely expecting that engine to roar to life, but instead, you're just sitting there wondering what on earth could have possibly gone wrong now. So, if you're out there right now staring at a fuel pressure gauge that is stubbornly stuck on zero and you feel like you've hit a total wall, listen up. This one's for you. We are going to break this case wide open and get right to the bottom of it. All right, so in any good mystery, you've always got a red herring, right, a misleading clue. And in our case, the prime suspect seemed so obvious: the high-pressure fuel pump. It looked like an open and shut case. But, as we now know, just replacing it didn't solve the crime, which tells us the real culprit is still out there. It is a total classic misdirection. And let me tell you, experience shows that when you swap out a major part and the problem is still there, the real culprit is almost never the brand new part itself. It's usually something else, something hiding in the system that got overlooked. Okay, think of this table as our detective's cheat sheet. This is the playbook, the facts of the case straight out of the factory service manuals. A healthy Mariner V6 EFI should be putting out about 34 psi at idle. But pay very close attention to that warning sign, that rapid pressure drop after shutdown. That is a massive clue, and we'll be coming back to it. So, with those numbers in our back pocket, it is time to start the real investigation. We've got to stop guessing and stop throwing more parts at the problem. It's time to get methodical and start examining the evidence, one clue at a time. And here it is. This is our investigative plan, our checklist. We're going to follow the evidence, logically, starting with the absolute simplest checks. Can you actually hear the pump prime when you turn the key? Is it even getting power? Before you crack open that engine again, we start with the basics. You know, what's funny is that following this checklist, it almost always leads you to the same place. The problem isn't some deep, dark, complicated secret. It's usually one of a few usual suspects that are just, well, masters of hiding in plain sight. And here he is, public enemy number one, the clogged VST filter. You see, inside that vapor separator tank, the VST, there's this tiny little filter screen. Now, if this screen gets clogged up with gunk and old fuel deposits, it will completely starve your brand new, perfectly good pump for fuel. This is, without a doubt, the single most overlooked cause of this entire problem. Okay, culprit number two. This one's invisible. It's air. You know, when you open up the fuel system to change that pump, air gets in. And a single air bubble trapped in the line can absolutely prevent the pump from building any pressure at all. It's kind of like trying to drink through a straw that's got a hole in it. So here's the critical tip, and this is a big one. Before you even think about grabbing another wrench, just grab your key. This super simple procedure, it's recommended right in the factory manual. It just forces the pump to cycle over and over, pushing those stubborn air bubbles out of the system. Seriously, this can often solve the problem in less than a minute. Hey, remember that warning sign we talked about from our detective's cheat sheet? Well, this is where it comes into play. If you see the pressure build up, but then you watch it bleed all the way back down to zero just seconds after you turn the key off, your fuel pressure regulator is the likely accomplice. It's leaking internally, sending all that pressure right back to the tank, instead of holding it for the injectors. All right, theory is great, but let's look at a real-world example to see how this whole investigation actually plays out. This isn't just talk. We're going to see exactly how putting these clues together solves the case for good. So let's meet Dave. He's a passionate boat owner. He's got this classic 93 Mariner 175 EFI. He was doing some preemptive work, a tune-up, and he replaced the high-pressure pump. And he was immediately met with our exact scenario. The engine would crank, but all he got was that dreaded silence and zero fuel pressure. And of course, his first thought was exactly what yours or mine would be. Did I just get a brand new part that's a dud right out of the box? I mean, it's an easy conclusion to jump to. But thankfully, he decided to investigate a little further. But instead of just giving up and sending it back, he followed the checklist. First thing, he grabbed a multimeter, confirmed the pump was getting a solid 12 volts, check. Then he went back and double-checked all his fuel line connections, made sure they were tight, check. Then he decided to look deeper, and he opened up the VST.
And boom, there it was, the smoking gun. That little internal filter screen inside the VST was just completely choked off by this dark, gummy residue from years of old fuel. His new pump was perfectly fine. It was literally being suffocated.
So, after a good cleaning of that tiny screen and putting it all back together, Dave turned the key. And you can just imagine, he watched that gauge needle spring to life, settling right at a perfect 35 psi. His Mariner roared back to life. Case closed. Victory. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The most crucial point is to stop blaming the new part right away. Start looking at the whole system. A logical, step-by-step diagnostic will always beat frustrated guesswork. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, that little VST filter is where you're going to find your answer. And that really leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it? Finding and fixing today's problem, that's a huge win, for sure. But this whole case also teaches us something more important. Preventative maintenance, like cleaning those filters before they cause a problem, is how you stop the next crime from ever happening in the first place.